sunshine in their hair, the perfume that they wear. Girls, 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 girls.
Disco, disco duck, wah wah, wah wah. Disco, disco duck, wah wah, wah wah. And ladies and gentlemen, the reason why I'm in a jolly frolly mood today, because many of you have asked me, Kung Fu, when are you going to do a top 10 of your favorite AI babes? Well, fret no more, ladies and gentlemen, because that list is here. Did it take a long time? Yes. Did I take frequent cold showers? Yes, and it won't be the last time I do that either. But honestly, folks, if you don't know, from last July of 2024, I started to get into AI creating women on my channel for the purpose of using them for my thumbnails and also just to goon at when I have some downtime, folks. But without further ado, let's get into this rather hot, showery love session of very safe for work content, YouTube. So don't start flagging me for nudity and sexuality guidelines, because everything here I present is shaped like a lovely peach. And I do like myself a good peach, if you know what I mean.
Well, that's because you have big jugs. I mean, your boobs are huge. I mean, I want to squeeze them. Mama!
You know what old Jack Burton always says at a time like this?
Who?
Jack Burton. Me.
They hunted him down. They murdered his friends. And they took the only thing he would kill for.
You know this guy?
Yeah, but I'm not proud of it.
If it's a mission no man can survive, he's the man for the job.
Kung Fu hot dog.
Fuck you, asshole.
So watch out for him and his babes of the 1980s. Hail to the Jason King, baby.
It's all in the reflexes.
Number 10.
If the lady in question on this 1980s Miami beach looks a tad familiar, then yes, it is Ciri from The Witcher 3. That was my prompt for this particular design, because I've got a thing about a beautiful babe in the 80s, you know, when women actually looked like women and not monstrosities that they are today. And since Ciri has the capability of transferring dimensions, I would place her here on a 1980s beach with a big gun in her hand, wearing a bikini, because babes in bikinis, folks, is what matters in real life.
Spies, thighs, and, well, you get the idea.
And what I do like about this particular design as well is that I use a bit of purple and pink hues just to bring out the highlights in her hair and everything else. And quite simply, it has worked a treat. Or should it be a teat?
Number 9.
Now, you could probably say, well, Kung Fu, you've got two babes in your picture right here. Shouldn't this be number 11? Well, listen, it's 2 for the price of 1, or 4 for the price of 1 if you look a lot more closely. But again, why did I come up with this? Because it was a Mass Effect theme. I wanted lady on lady action, wearing some very lovely red outfits for the occasion. One blonde, one brunette. What more could I ask for?
Number 8.
Of course, you do recognize this lovely right here, my stone cold assassin. Give it a smile, you sexy thing. And yes, she is at number 8, folks, because quite simply, when you see who's ahead of her and her couple of friends right here, you'll understand why I've placed her at number 8. A difficult choice, I may add, but she's a stone cold assassin in the dead of winter, right? New York City, in a very conservative business suit. She's not wearing a bra because I told her not to for this one-time only meeting. But I'm definitely sure she's wearing some underwear in those regions. But she's quite the special doll in my life. You've seen her in my opening titles. And honestly, the only thing I would say that's wrong with this picture, and if you look very closely, on her right hand, her little pinky the nail is chipped. Now, I don't know why AI did that, and that is probably a little thing I need to tell you right here, folks. You might have the best creation ever. You think, oh man, this is awesome. And then you look closely, and then you realize she's got an extra finger, or one of the fingers is just messed up. So you could probably put some prompts in beforehand in brackets to say no large hands, no exaggerated body proportions, and you should get away with it. But honestly, I'm absolutely proud of this girl right here. She's an absolute banger, and maybe she might bang my brains out later on if I ask nicely.
Number 7.
Oh, of course, you know the first descendant, which is what this is inspired by. Of course, what else would it be? Beautiful brunette in the style of a Playboy magazine photo shoot, and she's all alone, folks, in the cockpit of a spaceship, and she just wants you to keep her company. And who am I, and who are you all to even argue? And I'll tell you what, gentlemen, you'll understand this. When it comes to thickness, you know, that does actually matter. We don't like skinny. We like a bit of meat on our bone, if you know what I mean. And quite clearly, this busty, brunetted beauty right here has it all. And again, it wasn't much that I had to put in a prompt. Just say, inspired by the first descendant, and then you can fill in the blanks, if you know what I mean.
Number 6.
And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, the luscious women of the Wasteland. They were supposed to have a boomerang in this image, but for some reason it spun away and never came back. Hence why the gorgeous girl on the right has a knife in her hand, and they're wearing pilot helmets. And stop making jokes about helmets. I'm watching you, and I'm watching you as well. But honestly, just looking at these two fine women right here, wouldn't you want to be a Mad Max in your car and you happen upon these two? I know I certainly would. Just the divine imagination that came out of my head when I asked AI to create two stunning beauties lost in a desert somewhere. Well, of course, there are cars in the background, but they're abandoned vehicles. And just looking at the positioning of the shorts and everything else, which isn't much to be honest, then you know what kind of a fertile human being I actually am.
Number 5.
Two other reasons why I couldn't wait to put this lovely lady into my top 10. She is absolutely heavenly. Oh, a space babe in a leotard, because leotards in space on a very shapely female like this girl right here only speaks wonders to my mind. In fact, she was so eager to do a photo shoot for me, she climbed out of the spaceship and leant against it. I mean, what a girl. Of course, now you're looking at her and you're thinking, Jace, doesn't she look like a bit like Jessica Chobot, former IGM babe? Well, I didn't actually put that as the prompt. I just said, make an attractive woman, make her busty, make her do something, and this is what we have. And the website I used to use for this, and I'm going to rejoin it this year to get extra credits. By the way, folks, if you want to get into AI creation, okay, give you a bit of a word of warning here. Pay attention to the credits. It might say, oh, for this price, for this subscription, you get 184,000 credits. It seems like a lot, but the more detail you put into your creation, the more those words eat out of your credits. So keep it to a minimum, know what you're looking for, and some websites, unfortunately, if you're too specific, it will threaten to ban you from their service because you're creating inappropriate stuff. And I get it, but if you're using the most innocent of words, it keeps picking up on things that it deems you're going to be nefarious with. So my golden rule is, the less prompts you use to go towards your desired finished product, then the likely the results will be to your benefit. I didn't even say have her in a leotard as such. Or maybe I did, I can't remember, but I really do like, this is like, man, That's going to be my screensaver soon, actually, on my phone and on my PC. So, Tata Miss Jessica Chobot lookalike. And yeah, if you look closely at this, it's definitely inspired by Mass Effect 2. I would say that game is just like, that trilogy is the absolute GOAT.
Number 4.
Oh, well, of course, you've seen this lovely lady, because every time I see this image now, I will think about Mind's Eye, the Leslie Benzies action video game that's coming out in May of this year. And it's funny how such a image now evokes that video game memory, because when I actually finished my reaction video for that gameplay, I was thinking to myself, well, what kind of thumbnail will actually encapsulate what I think? And yeah, when I was watching that trailer and I saw the car stuff and our Latino hero getting out, mowing down bad guys, I kind of had a flashback of, well, maybe his girlfriend that he's going to rescue could be in this type of environment, right? But, you know, when I see this chick right here, I think I did ask AI to make her a blonde, because here's a funny thing, right? Depending on the type of woman you use and the hairstyle you give to her, AI seems to create its surroundings around her appearance. So you might get, I think with the blonde woman, you tend to get a better finish, if you know what I mean. And when I look at her, she reminds me of Mary Stavin, who was, I think, a Miss UK for obviously my country, and she also went on to become a little bit of a actress in movies. She was in House, if you remember that film from 1985-86. But then again, if you take a much more closer look at her, to me, she's Heidi Sorensen from Playboy. And yes, before you say anything, yeah, Heidi Sorensen was also in the first Fright Night as a very sexy, high-class call girl. But I do love this, and I've never wanted to be a sports car in my life so much.
Number 3.
What do I have to say about this? This is the thumbnail that got me 54,000 views on that trailer reaction for the DC fan film from John Fiorello. And yes, John, I'm still working on getting an AI platform out for all my stuff for you to see, dude, and everybody else, but this didn't take long, actually. I think it was my second or third attempt to create something, and the actual prompt I used, or the platform I used, the software, gave me this and her lovely goods. I mean, even though the Batman and Superman were the stars of my actual video that I reacted to, I kind of leaned in towards Catwoman for very obvious reasons. Well, I gotta say, there's a bit of a, you could kind of say there's a bit of an S&M thing going on with this design, and it's on purpose, it's very deliberate, but again, YouTube won't balk at this. This is fairly acceptable to use on the platform. It just gets a bit more sensitive when it realizes that you're using more than you ought to. And by the way, I just realized, and I know you're going to point it out now, I didn't realize before, but her left arm is bent backwards. It's kind of, I've only just noticed that. Oh my god, well, am I going to complain? I mean, again, thumbnail for my very most popular video at the moment, but oh, I'll have to fix that when I can get back into the subscription feed. But again, I'm very, I love shots where the sexy, beautiful babe is on a rooftop overlooking a city, and sometimes I set the city in the 1980s just to give it a bit of a nostalgic feel. Well,
Number 2.
Warhammer 40k Marine, the Ultramarine with massive titties. You imagine being on a battlefield and you come back home and she's waiting for you right here, folks, because as Pat Benatar once sung, love is a battlefield, and this is the surveillance map. I want to get my magnifying glass out and give it a good, thorough inspection. And by the way, when I was using that particular website to create this image, I threw in a lot of suggestive prompts to the point where it gave me what I wanted. And then when I tried to reuse those prompts much later on, I got this warning message saying you're trying to create inappropriate content. So I obviously triggered the algorithm at that time because everybody was doing it and everybody still does. And I kind of, I'm very proud of that. And this was my number one. This was actually my number one AI creation of all time. And yes, I might give you an honorable mention here with Jill Valentine under the spotlight. She could have made it in here. And again, but me and Jill, we've got an arrangement. I make naughty private creations of her because she likes to do naughty things to me. That Jill Valentine, she's such a sauce pot, she really is. But now, folks, for the number one AI creation of all time, unless something else beats it. Are you ready? Can you guess who she is? And she has been on the thumbnail about maybe 5 weeks ago now, but I will keep you in suspenders no longer.
And at number one.
Well, I've got a thing for medieval babes.
We gotta go. It's a history report, not a babe report. Bill, those are historical babes.
And you know me, I'm absolutely in adoration of that Chinese video game, Tides of Annihilation. And of course, if you are paying close attention, 007, you know the lovely lady right here is none other than Gwendolyn from the game. Now, I could have picked a very equally fit sister, Mordred, who likes to swagger around in the library. Oh, gosh, she could be my librarian any day she wants to be. Or just a librarian. But yeah, what can I say? Just use ChatGPT if you want to get an accurate result, and then just put your own naughty suggestions afterwards. And actually, I did not even ask AI for her to adopt this pose. It just gave me the pose like that. I was very impressed. And it's near perfect. Again, I would have liked her a little bit more chunky on the thigh region, but I'm not too fast. I mean, how can I be? People actually reacted to the thumbnail as I thought they might do. I was like, damn, dude, that is amazing. But again, I cannot wait for that game to come out. It's going to be an incredible experience. Anything to do with RPG, medieval, fantasy women, it just gets me going. And of course, the boots. The boot fetish, folks. That's all I have to say on that one. And look, I'm not going to switch back to my normal screen. I'm going to leave it right here so you can ogle and Miss Gwendolyn right here from Tides of Annihilation. But I will say this much, folks. If you're thinking of getting into making your own AI creations, there are some very good videos on YouTube out there about what they would recommend. I would actually recommend, if you want to take it seriously and maybe build a portfolio, to pay a subscription for a year. I would say avoid the Western AI websites that actually will censor you because you're trying to create, shall we say, NSFW images. And it depends. Everybody's got the interpretation of, is that safe for work? All that nonsense. But I tend to veer for the Chinese stuff or anything from Indonesia or Singapore, right? Because they're much more relaxed on what you want to create. So if you enjoyed my top 10 of absolute goonerific AI babes today, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you leave a like below, smash that subscribe button, hit the join button, and I'll catch you catching me, catching her, catching them for the return of the next video. I don't know what's worse, ladies and gentlemen, watching two of my favorite action icons, Detective Carter and Inspector Lee from the Rush Hour franchise, either running away in terror from Sachi Schmid Hori, the Japanese literature professor who talks about idolizing young impressionable men, because if you're a clergyman, that's what you do in your spare time, when instead you could be doing this.
Tune in next time, friends, as the ghostly, glowing green glob of gunge wreaks havoc in the next episode of
Kung Fu Hot Dog.